Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Skip says, once again, we saw why LeBron is one of the most mentally fragile athletes we've ever seen. Shannon calls last night's loss just the wake-up call his Cavs need to get ready for their title run. Did LeBron deserve to be an NBA MVP finalist? Shannon says yes. Skip says no. So we have Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard come to the desk to tell us why Skip is right. Former NBA All-Star Cedric Ceballos explains why the Celtics players are better without Isaiah Thomas in the lineup. Hall of Fame wideout Chris Carter believes that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a right to talk tough about DeSean Jackson in public. Finally, Rob Parker, Mr. Detroit himself, checks in to give us his 2 cents on the drama between Calvin Johnson and the Detroit Lions. Shannon, tough night for the King of Akron.
Got nothing to say?
Blending in with our blue background.
Oh,
how you doing, Joy?
I'm good.
Hi, Joy.
You have a good
How
weekend? Do anything fun? Go to the beach, Santa Monica Pier?
Blah,
Whoa, skip.
Blah, 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 blah. I'm just glad I'm sitting in this seat instead of that seat today.
Yeah, I bet
with
you
Shannon
are.
Sharpe.
This side's a little warmer. Let's get it started with the huge upset by the Celtics last night. They rebounded after getting beat by 44 in Game 2 with a 111-108 win over the Cavs in Cleveland. With the game tied, Avery Bradley hit the game-winning three-pointer that bounced in at the last second. LeBron James finished with just 11 points and none in the fourth quarter. After the game, Kyrie and LeBron talked about the loss. Let's take a listen.
You know, I'm glad it kind of happened the way it did. You know, let our foot off the gas a little bit. You know, didn't keep the pressure on them like we have been accustomed to it. But, you know, we have to play a lot better. Well, I feel some adversity is all part of the postseason. I feel like you have to have some type of, you know, adversity in order to be successful. And so I'm glad if it was going to happen, let it happen now. Let us regroup. You know, let us regroup and all the narrative and everything that was going on. Let's regroup and let's get back to playing desperate basketball, which they did tonight. You know, and you know, so we gotta be a lot better for sure.
We got to slice some humble pie. So you got a lot to learn going forward. But they hit us in the mouth, and now it's our job to hit back.
Shannon, how do you explain what happened?
Where do I begin? Well, how about this? Let's start with this. If you respect everyone, underestimate no one, you should never have a problem. Skip, the Cavs underestimated the Celtics without Isaiah Thomas because you're looking at a guy that averaged almost 30 points a game, and they're looking at them like, well, without those 30 points, how are they going to get into their offense? Who's going to get them into their offense? But what they didn't realize is that, and you and I are going to touch on this later, is that without a ball-dominant player, the ball has to move. And the Celtics forced the Cavaliers to guard basically for the entire shot clock. Normally, Isaiah's going to get the ball up, or he holds the ball until 15, 20 seconds, and then if he doesn't have a shot, he'll pass it. Then they got to throw up a desperation shot. They started moving the basketball, ball started going in. That's first and foremost. But the third quarter was the undoing, and we've seen this basically for throughout the entirety of the season, and we saw it in the playoffs against the Celtics. The first game, we saw it against Indiana. Skip, they're up 21, and then for some unforsaken reason, with about 8 minutes to go in the third quarter, they just stopped guarding. And the Celtics started making shots, and you know what happens when a team starts making shots, because no lead is really safe unless you got a 40-point lead. But if you got a 20-point lead and a team start hitting threes and you turn it over on your end, before you know it, they're back in the ball game. And that's what happened. The Cavaliers were 14-22 in the first half from the three-point line. They went 2 of, 17 in the second half. Flip that around. The Celtics in the third quarter went 6 of 11. Well, that's 18 points. So they're back in the ball game. And then Marcus Smart got going. Avery Bradley got going. Man Bun, he came in and hit a couple of threes.
He did.
And then Jonas Jerebko, where has he been? Who is this guy? Then all of a sudden, he has a plus-minus of plus 22 in like 9 minutes, Skip. That's unheard of. I'm glad it happened. I agree with LeBron. I'm glad it happened. Because guess what? When you win a game by 44 points, it's hard for the coach to have your attention. But when you lose to a team on your home court without their best player, not only does he have your attention, he has your undivided attention. this is not about the Celtics. They need to understand, in order for them to accomplish their ultimate goal, there's a team on the other side, and you can never have a lapse because they got guys that can hit you up for 30, 40 in every single game. And so I'm glad it happened last night. Sure, I'd love to see them sweep and get that rest, but this is a wake-up call. They're not where they need to be, and if they want to win the championship this year, they're going to have to guard throughout the entirety of the clock for the entirety of the game.
So, if I listen carefully enough to your critique, I think I noticed that you did not include in your critique that guy who wears 23 for the Cavaliers. You did agree with his assessment of the game, but you did not critique his performance.
I'm going to let you do that, and then I'm going to come in.
Oh, so that's how it's going to work.
That's what I'm going to do.
All right. Well, first of all, let me declare the fact that obviously Avery Bradley made as lucky bounce a three as I've ever seen under any circumstances, let alone on a game winner. It was just pure luck. We've seen lucky shots, you know, obviously like LeBron's against the Wizards where he accidentally backboarded it in. But for a shot that wasn't unintentionally backboarded in,
right,
for one that hit the rim first, that was as lucky as it gets. So I'm going to give you a mint to be-ness for this game. Once they got rolling, every shot was going to go in, including Marcus Smart had 3 free throws late in the game. And the first one, I don't know how it went in, but it bounced all around and fell through 2. And it's like the basketball gods were just with the Celtics. Now, back to 23 of the Cavaliers. I was thinking of the real 23 last night, a guy named Jordan. And I was wondering if he happened to be watching this game, because I would guess that Michael Jordan sat back at the end of this game and said, really? That guy? Him? He's better than me? The guy who just disappeared? Because I think we witnessed last night, I'm going to make a case for this, I think it was the biggest single game upset in NBA playoff history, given the circumstance of what happened Friday night. You and I went back and forth texting about Friday night because it was an absolute annihilation, humiliation at Boston in Game 2 when, silly me, I thought the Celtics would show the kind of pride and fight that they showed last night at home in Game 2. That was their last stand game. And what happened? They lost by 44 points at home as LeBron James went for 22 in the first half on 9 of 14 shots. So that was that guy. And then this happened, and obviously during that sequence on Friday night, as you point out, they lost the Celtics, their best player, quote unquote, Isaiah Thomas. We'll get into how valuable he is or isn't, but he's gone for the rest of the playoffs, or so they say. So here come the Celtics to the King's house, 16.5-point underdogs, and with 6:39 left in the third quarter, those same Celtics trailed 77-56, which was a 21-point deficit. And I got to give my girl Ernestine a little shout out today because she's a Celtics fan back to the Ray, Paul, KG days. She became a new basketball fan, and she loved that team. And she kept coming into my little study where I watch the games by myself because she can't take me. She kept saying, they're going to come back. And I said, no, they're not going to come back. They're 18 down. They're going to come back. They're going to come back.
So Ernestine jinxed the Cavs, huh?
She was actually, I kept saying, you're going to jinx yourself. Because she said, we got this. She was doing a we for Boston. and by the end of the game, she's coming in dancing. She's doing dances into my room off Jerebko shots. And I'm saying, do you even know who Jonas Jerebko is? No, I don't care. Ooh, yes. So anyway, I got to give her that. But anyway, back to this. So I look at the box score, and I say, if I had told you, Shannon Sharpe,
yes,
before the game, that Kevin Love would make 8 of 16 shots and 7 of 13 threes and score 28 points, you'd say, that's pretty good, right? And if I told you Kyrie would go 10 for 15 and make 4 or 6 threes for 29 points, you'd say, we got this, right? And if I told you on top of that Tristan would have 18 and 13 last night, you'd say, boom, another blowout, right?
Nope, because you didn't mention that guy's name.
I didn't mention that guy's name. LeBron James went 11 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 6 turnovers. I hate saying all those sixes in a row because it's really bad karma, but that's what happened. 11, 6, 6, 6 to LeBron James. And now we're back up to a LeBron James who was once again in a fairly big playoff game missing in action. bizarrely missing in action. And it was shades of what happened against the Boston Celtics back in 2010 in his last go-around in Cleveland the first time, and shades of what happened in the finals, your first go-around with the Miami Heat in 2011 against Dallas, when LeBron just inexplicably shrank and disengaged and didn't even want to touch the ball through the last quarter and a half of the game. He did not make a basket, LeBron James, for the last 19 minutes and 12 seconds of the game. I'm talking about he made a free throw. But a basket. The whole 19 minutes and 12 seconds of the game finishes without LeBron making a single basket. What? The same guy who scored 22 in the first half at Boston on Friday night, that happened? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say it again. On occasion, LeBron James can be as mentally fragile a superstar as we have ever seen. Inexplicably, weirdly, oddly, he just went completely passive last night. He didn't want to attack. He didn't want to shoot. The thing was, it wasn't like LeBron was cold in the fourth quarter. He only took 3 shots.
Right.
He missed 3 shots, but he didn't take 11 shots and miss 11 shots. He only took 3. And again, did he get too dependent on Kyrie and Kevin Love in the first half? You can certainly make the case. But this was a game on a silver platter for LeBron to close. I always say Kyrie is the closer of the Cavaliers, but last night, LeBron can just take anybody to the basket. We've seen Boston has no answer for LeBron at the rim, but he didn't want to go to the rim, and a couple times late in the game, he got Horford or whoever to the rim, and he was kicking it out for threes or whatever plays, and Kyrie made a couple of really nice late plays, and J.R. Smith made a huge 3, and Kevin Love had a nice tip in. But it wasn't enough because the Celtics got on a roll. And as you say, when you're going to make 11 of 22 three-point shots in the second half and the Cavs are going to go 2 for 17, it's going to be big problems for the Cavaliers. But in the end, my theory was, remember, last night, LeBron, who has the highest basketball IQ and is a historian of basketball, he knew what was on the line last night. He could have broken Michael Jordan's playoff record for 30-plus point games with 9. That was a chance to go 9. This is just me. I think he sort of gagged on the ghost. He says, I'm chasing the ghost, and I think that got a little too much for him. The pressure of that's just my theory, might have overcome him. I also think there was so much talk about J.R. Smith saying, well, LeBron's got a chip on his shoulder because he's not even top 3 this year in MVP. Mm-hmm. We're going to discuss that in a little bit. But I think that might have eaten at LeBron, and sometimes it might have hurt his feelings. You know, like it might have made him passive, like he said, I guess they don't love me anymore, because he can be very fragile psychologically, emotionally, and I think we saw that last night. And then ultimately the team that feeds off him quit playing defense, and that was the team that we saw the last 46 games of the regular season when they went 23-23 and wound up 22nd in defensive efficiency, because to give up 61 points to a team without Isaiah Thomas in a pretty key playoff game in which you're trying to hold serve with Golden State on the other side on rest versus rust. Man, in the end, it's just another weird flaw in LeBron's legacy in which you try to make the case that he's better than Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan never had a game like this in any playoff game.
So are we going to just pretend like the previous 13 playoff games didn't happen?
No.
Going back to Game 5 of last year and the first 10 this year?
No.
So none of that happened?
I give you all those. I give you all of them. I question the competition, but I really questioned the competition last night.
What about Golden State? Are they any competition, 73-19,
sure,
down 3-1?
Yeah. Again, without Draymond in Game 5 and then without Bogut in Game 6 and Game 7.
Okay, where was Draymond in Game 3 and Game 6 and 7? Where was Steph Curry? Where was the MVP? Klay?
In the games they won.
Yeah.
I thought Steph came up really small last year in the whole finals.
Skip, I think what happened was, and this is sometimes maybe, I don't know if it's a flaw, but when LeBron saw Kevin Love and Kyrie have it going early, he didn't want to intervene, because what would have happened had he intervened and started shooting shots when Kyrie and Kevin Love, one Skip Bayless would say, why are you shooting the ball when Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving has it going so well? That's what you would have said. Now, normally LeBron, no, he likes to facilitate because he knows at any given time he can get to the basket, he can get his own shot. But Kevin Love had it going. So he had 22 points in the first half. He had 17, and Kyrie had 17 in the first half. So LeBron had a whole hum, basically, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. But it took him out of his rhythm because it took so long for him to like, okay, now I need to insert myself. But it was too late. Nothing would fall for him. He was getting to the basket. He was getting the ball taken away from him. He was, balls that were going in the first 2 games were spinning out. And then his outside shot, it wouldn't fall. He couldn't make anything. And then it started like, okay, I can't do anything as far as scoring the ball. Let me try to assist and facilitate for my teammates. And when they really got down to it, Skip, and they need him. If you had told me, because when you said, okay, if I told you Kevin Love was going to have 28, Kyrie was going to have 29, and Tristan Thompson.
18, 13. Yep.
They need him because if he doesn't play well, no matter what the other guys do, they don't normally play well and they don't win. That's how valuable he is, Skip. And so you know what? This is their wake-up call. You know what's going to happen tomorrow night. You know what's going to happen, Skip. Go ahead and say it. 30. They're going to get beat by 30.
You better. Oh, beat by 30. I thought you said LeBron's going to have
Yeah. They're going to get beat by 30. They will not take their foot off the gas. They're going to get them down, and they're going to stomp them out like they did Friday night. But I'm not trying to excuse LeBron play. He knows he has to play better. And ultimately, this is not about the Celtics, Skip. Golden State is watching the Cavs. The Cavs are watching Golden State. And you had to be great to be, 16-0 heading into the finals. That's not going to happen. At the end of the day, we're going to get the matchup we want, and hopefully it's 7 games, and it's as good as we think it's going to be. But LeBron didn't play well. They didn't defend well. And down the stretch, they went to too much ISO. They basically just clear out the side. Okay, Kyrie, do what you do. At some point in time, T-Lou, run a play. You just can't let Kyrie go ISO. You get down by a point or 2. Run your offense.
Although he made a couple of nice ISO shots. He did.
I mean, he's spectacular.
Yep. I don't disagree with LeBron's after-game premise of I'm glad it happened now, we can regroup, and then now we become the desperate team. I don't disagree with that. But where I will make a case for Boston coming a lot closer than 30 tomorrow night, I think they found themselves without Isaiah Thomas. And again, this is a first guess on my part because I've told you again and again, I love to watch him. I love his heart. I hate what he had to go through with his sister's tragedy. We get all that. But it's hard to win big playoff games against a really good team with a 5'9", shoot-first point guard who you can't really hide on defense because he can't really guard anybody. You just have to, cover for him, cover for him, cover for him. And the Celtics can play pretty good defense, especially if you insert Marcus Smart in the lineup in place of Isaiah.
Yeah, because basically you have 3 defenders in the game. You have Crowder, you have Bradley, you have Smart.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
and Horford can defend.
Yeah,
pretty
Horford's
well.
pretty good on the defensive end.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Skip, is that how do you build a team around a 5'9" guy? Because when they trap him, unless it's Calvin Murphy and Muggsy Bogues trapping, he can't see over it. So they pin him in a corner. What is he going to do? I'm willing to give the Celtics credit because they quit Friday night. They got down by 41. At one time, it ballooned to 50. But this team says, you know what? We're not going down without a fight. Now, a lot of teams say that. We're not getting swept, even though they're going to the home team. They're going on the road. We're not going to get swept. And it sounds good. It sounds cliche-ish.
Yep.
But this team came in. They were desperate. Skip, they could have easily quit. You get down, you're already down 0-2. You're on the road and you're down 21 points. What's to stop you from going down 30, 35, 40?
Yep, I agree.
Pride, determination.
And
they showed a lot
as
of
you point out, ball movement.
Yep.
Because now they're actually a basketball team instead of Isaiah dribble, 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 dribble. Is he going to force up a shot? Is it going to get blocked? Is he going to get in the lane, get the shot block, or is he going to get to the glass? In this case, we finally got to see a terrific young coach get to coach.
Yes.
We saw Brad Stevens get to call some out-of-timeout plays.
And they were great. He called.
Or as they call them, ATOs now. I'd never heard that before, after-timeout plays. But he called a couple of terrific ones, especially the last one in which he's got Jay Crowder going down to down screen for Avery Bradley, and at the last second, diving to the rim, like he deked a screen. And J.R. Smith, bless him, he got confused and said, uh-oh, I better go with Crowder. And Avery comes completely free coming across the top. And Marcus Smart, I thought he was going to go one-on-one with LeBron. He just immediately kicks it cross-court to Avery. And then here comes Horford screening off Tristan Thompson. And all of a sudden, he's got a clean look three. Now, again, it locked in, but he had a clean look.
I think the biggest play, Skip, was when Avery Bradley broke the defense down. And three
that was a big play.
And then he kicked it to Jerebko in the corner.
Yep.
That was really the turning point. Because
it was a big one. And it was only a 2 instead of a 3. He didn't get his feet quite behind the line.
But,
wow.
But the Isaiah Thomas thing, this does not look good for him. Because Danny Ainge gets to look and say, so hold on. We had you game 1. We were down by like 25. We had you game 2, although you didn't play the second half. We lose by 44. We go on the road without you, and we win a ball game with the best player in the planet on the court. This doesn't bode well for Isaiah Thomas, Skip. And he was the one guy. He's happy with the win, but Skip, when they win without you, it tells them they can win without you. And I don't know how you give him a max contract
at
5'9" and give him 210, 220 when you just what you just saw.
It's just hard to win big with a man that little.
Correct.
Well, Game 4 is Tuesday night in Cleveland. That 21-point lead blown by the Cavs was the biggest blown lead of LeBron's playoff career.
No mercy.
LeBron James averaged career best in rebounds and assists this season, but he was not named as one of the NBA MVP finalists on Friday. James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kawhi Leonard are the finalists for the award that will be announced on June 26th. It's the first time LeBron has finished outside the top 3 since 2008. LeBron told reporters, quote, "I haven't been fourth in a long time." Joined by Chris Broussard. Chris, you had an MVP ballot.
I had an official vote, yep.
Did LeBron deserve to be a finalist?
No, this word finalist is interesting. This is new with the NBA MVP voting because typically there's 5 names on the ballot or 5 spots and you vote for your 5 and then the winner is announced in the order. But I guess because of the award show,
Want to build it
now, yeah, they're building it up. It's not like they're just inviting these 3 to the show. They invited all the players. But now they're saying the top 3 are the finalists. And on my ballot, he was not top 3. I voted for LeBron preseason, or not voted, but he was my preseason pick for MVP. But as the objective voice of Undisputed, I had to be objective and keep it real.
You mean the objective LeBron lover?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. My 5th place was Isaiah Thomas. 4th place was LeBron. 3rd place was Kawhi. 2nd, Harden, and Westbrook was my MVP. And here's why. Again, it's a regular season award. We know what Westbrook did, historic achievement. James Harden, GMs picked him to finish 8th in the West. He leads them to the 3rd seed, 55 wins, and great numbers himself. Yep. And then Kawhi, 1 All-Star in San Antonio, 3 in Cleveland. Kawhi's team wins 10 more games than Cleveland did, than LeBron's team. So I gave Kawhi the nod over LeBron. Look, the playoffs are proving that the Cavs coasted during the regular season. And because they coasted, they underachieved. And you can't get the MVP award, in my opinion, if your team underachieves pretty badly. They could have won 60-something games easily in the East.
So, Shannon, you're now in the precarious position of having to respond to another LeBron lover. Is that fair to say?
Ex. He's Judy.
He's ex?
Yeah.
Who just gave you the objective analysis that LeBron deserved 4th. He would be 4th on my ballot.
But you look at it like
you
this.
wouldn't have him winning either, right?
No.
Okay.
I would have put him to win, but just cause.
Just cause. Because he sleeps on a LeBron sheet.
Will you stop bringing up old stuff?
Old stuff. It's new stuff. It's what you did last night.
No, I didn't. I put the pillow in the closet.
I'm trying to get that picture out of my mind.
Wait a minute. You got mad at LeBron last night?
Yeah, I had to put the pillow up.
When they lose, you sleep on the regular sheets?
Yep.
As
You
punishment?
turn it over.
No, I had to put the pillow in the closet. I didn't want to look at it. I was upset. Here's the thing, though. But when you said the Cavaliers coasted and Kawhi, but all across the board, his numbers were better than Kawhi. And when Kawhi didn't play, they both missed 8 games. The Spurs were 7-1. The Cavs were 0-8. They're 4-19 since he's returned. So in 3 years, when LeBron doesn't play, they're 4-19. His value should be unquestioned. And it just goes to show you, even though Tristan Thompson was 18-13, Kevin Love had 28, Kyrie had 29, they lost because that guy. Yep. Now, if LeBron has that Kevin Love 28, it's not even close. but that just goes to show you his value to the team. This is like Meryl Streep. She's been nominated 20 times for the Oscar. All right, let's go on and give it to Brie Larson. Oh, let's go give it to Charlize Theron. Let's go ahead and give it. No! Hilary Swank. No! Give it to Meryl. She deserved it. Give this man his due. This is the Michael Jordan syndrome. This is the same thing that
happened to him.
The Wayne Gretzky and the Hart Trophy. It's just like 9 times in a row. Isn't that enough, Skip? I mean, how many awards should we give him? Let somebody else win.
See, if he is and I don't want to take your time, Skip, but he's the best player in the world. I think we all agree. I think Skip even agrees.
Stop shaking your head, Skip. You agree.
But if you don't just give it, we didn't just give it to Michael Jordan when he was the best player for the first or for about 9 or 10 years straight. And so to do it for LeBron, I think wouldn't be right.
LeBron's regular season performance did not deserve top 3 in MVP. I'm sorry, his team won 51 games because his team backslid. The last 46 games of the regular season, they went 23-23, playing mostly an Eastern Conference schedule. That's pathetic, given the fact you had 3 All-Stars on your team. Kawhi had only Kawhi. Obviously, James had only James, and Russell had only Russell on their teams. And you keep bringing up this stat about, look what the Spurs did without Kawhi. And again, I'm not going to go chapter and verse, but I dare anybody out there to call up those games right now and look what happened, because there's not one impressive win in there that you'd say, oh, wow, look what the Spurs did without Kawhi. They were beating Phoenix at home, Sacramento at home, Portland without Damian Lillard, Toronto without DeMar DeRozan. I could go on and on. There's not one impressive win where you say, wow, look what they did. Because look what they're not doing right now. After Kawhi went down, 7:53 left in the third quarter of game number 1, and they were up 23 points at that 78-55. And it has been a nightmare. It has been a disaster. I'm dreading beyond dread watching this game tonight, just as I tweeted before the game on Saturday night. I'm dreading.
You're going to win, Skip.
He's saying we're going to win tonight, and I have no idea how.
He's going your way.
Why you won't have faith?
He's just trolling.
Why you won't have faith?
We even lost David Lee.
You did beat Houston.
David Lee, but that was all about James Harden's meltdown. That's all that was. Listen, Golden State has 4 All-Stars, and if one guy's not clicking,
4 All-NBA players.
Come on. I mean, if one guy's not clicking, the other guy will, and this guy will be clicking, and that guy's. It's a disaster.
You need a game 1 or game 2 from LaMarcus Aldridge, like he gave you in last year's playoff. He gives you one of those 35, one of those 40-point ball games. But, Skip, he can't let Draymond push him off the block.
It's just pathetic to watch. I can't watch it.
And they talk about, well, he's getting triple team. I say, Draymond and Green, they're the same person.
Well, LaMarcus isn't that guy, and he never was. He's a trailblazer at heart. And, he's not a Spur. He's not a go-to guy. He's not a takeover guy. If you had a takeover guy, they could have won one of these games. They could have won game 1. They would have held on.
There's a difference, though, Skip, because in Portland, he's playing to be on the All-Star team. You're
playing in the shadows. This is in the spotlight.
Go to San Antonio, they're playing for championships. So if he falters trying to make an All-Star team, nobody pays it any attention. Because how many times was LaMarcus Aldridge on television? But now he's in the playoffs every year. So now the light's going to be even brighter, and you get an opportunity to see what he isn't.
If he was the man, he would be living for this moment. You want Kawhi there, but if your best player isn't there, then you step up and say, I'm going to show everybody what I'm about.
This ain't just Kawhi. He was playing well with Kawhi. Well, so that just goes to show you. They had more focus on Kawhi than you.
Okay, and I'm going to go to my grave saying this. My Spurs would have won this series if Kawhi Leonard were healthy. They would have won game 1. I believe they'd had a free shot in game 2, and I would have liked their chances in game 2 because they play great in that building. They love it there. They don't play as great at home, but I would have given them a real shot to win this series.
I'm not even sure they would have won game 1.
Oh, they'd have won
game 1.
You know
the Warriors
With Kawhi Leonard?
It was going to be close.
Oh, it
the
was
Warriors
not
were going to make
close.
a run.
They couldn't stop
Kawhi was on the court the entire game in the regular season when they were up by 22 and lost by 12.
Well, he was there on opening night when they won by 29
that
in that building.
That was opening night. They didn't even know each other.
Well, Shannon thinks they're going to win tonight, right?
You go to the prom?
does.
You go to the prom?
Going to the prom?
Did you go to the prom in high school?
Yes.
That's the only time closeness matter. When you was dancing.
No, it was going to be close, and then Kawhi at best
It only has to matter at the prom?
Yeah, prom and throw a grenade.
No mercy.
Undisputed is heading to the NBA Finals. We will be live in either Oakland or San Antonio starting June 1st. We'll have great guests,
Oakland.
and you can come and watch the show in person. Next week, we'll have more info on exactly where we will be. We hope you'll join us. We think the Cavs will be in the NBA Finals, but they were upset last night by the Celtics after Avery Bradley's game-winning three-pointer. Marcus Smart started for the injured Isaiah Thomas and finished with 27 points and 7 three-pointers. Thomas injured his hip during Game 2's blowout loss on Friday and is out for the rest of the playoffs. We're joined by former NBA All-Star Cedric Ceballos. Welcome back.
Yeah,
Looking gangster today. I like that.
I wore all black, man, for the Cavs.
It's over.
Are we sure we're going to Cleveland? Are we sure?
I don't know.
I'm 1,000% certain we will not be in San Antonio.
Oh, well.
Wow.
Well, you
Although
said
you
they're
said they're
going to
gonna
win
win tonight.
tonight.
I said they're going to win tonight. That ain't 4 games.
Not in 4 games.
You make it seem like it's a game 7.
Well, that's an equal of 4 games when
Yeah.
you win 1 game in this
It would be.
series. Yeah.
Well, let's
take
talk about the other series. Cedric, are the Celtics better without Isaiah?
They better team. No, they got the first seed because of him. But I think that the players are better. They're not a better team. The players are better. The ball moves a lot more. The offense goes through him. And then there's guys that's sitting on the bench going, man, I could play well if Isaiah didn't have 40 minutes a game and didn't have the ball 39 minutes of the time he's out there. So they sit there and go, okay, this is my opportunity to shine. But then you look at the 2 blowouts. When you put a cat in a corner, they're gonna come out scratching, and that's what also you can add to this wonderful win that they got last night. They put him in the corner, they blew him out. They was embarrassed. They had nothing to lose. They lost their point guard, their star. Let's go out here and see if we can get ourselves a better contract, not be traded. They do have the first pick, so let's not be a bundle.
Right.
Let's try not to be a bundle, and they went out and played well.
I totally agree. It's just I think they're a better team because for all the reasons that you mentioned, the ball doesn't stop moving. And because you don't have a bunch of guys that can break you down off the dribble, now they have to continuously move the ball a la the Golden State Warriors. Now, it's not that fluid, but Isaiah Thomas is a ball-dominant player. He's 5'9". How does he make anybody better when he can't play off the ball? You can't say, well, we're going to get a point guard and we're going to let Isaiah play too, which is his natural position. He needs the ball to be effective. And what we saw yesterday is that when they spread the ball around, you get 6 guys in double figures. Right. And who do we guard? Because we double Isaiah, unless it's Calvin Murphy or Muggsy Bogues, he can't see over the double team. So you double team or trap him, Skip, you lost. They are a better team. Now, they were dangerous because the most dangerous animal is one wounded and one that's cornered.
Yes.
They were wounded and they were in a corner, and they came out fighting. But that's okay. LeBron going to put that net back on him again on tomorrow night. Yeah, he got something for him.
I definitely think the Celtics are a tougher matchup for Cleveland without Isaiah Thomas as their shoot-first point guard. And I first guessed this last week. I said it's going to be difficult for the Celtics to win big with that little man so ball-dominant because he's hard to cover for and hide on the defensive end because he's only 5'9". And against the better defensive teams, he starts to get lost in the lane, that get-to-the-rim shot that just amazes. I don't even know how he gets it off to get to the rim at 5'9" the way he does. Right. But against the better teams, against Cleveland, against Tristan and LeBron, sort of man in the paint, it's just hard for him to get the shot off. Right. And he starts to get up in the air and like, uh-oh, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, right? Yep. So all of a sudden, you throw Marcus Smart into the starting lineup. He is a tough physical perimeter defender, stout. He's got a little attitude to him.
Oh, yeah. He'll fight you. He'll scrap
Texas and Oklahoma State. And all of a sudden, if he's going to have a career night, now you need him to score 27 points on 8 of 14 shots and go 7 of 10 from the three-point line. That'll work. Yeah. Because I didn't see that coming because I don't think Marcus saw that coming. No. But all of a sudden, if you get him in on defense, then for LeBron and company, they start finding that the lane ain't open like it was before. There's no super highway to the basket like before. And all of a sudden, you bring Brad Stevens into the equation because it's hard for Brad Stevens to call plays for little Isaiah because he's just going to make it up on the fly. Right. He's just going to, whatever they do, I'll react to it. In late game situations with Isaiah, it's just Isaiah or bust, right?
Well, Smart has an ability to score, but like you said before, with Isaiah having the basketball, he doesn't get a chance to get that freedom.
Right.
The most important thing you said, Skip, was the defensive end. When you switch and rotate with a guy that's 5'9", and especially against a Cleveland team whose only tiny person is Kyrie Irving, who can shake back and get himself into the paint, it makes it very, very, very difficult. And that's the hard part. And then with Coach Stevens, knowing that may be a better seed, say Isaiah comes back next game. If that's a better chance for you to win, it's too much pressure on him as a coach to make that decision. Because if he makes that decision, Isaiah, come sit next to me, let's see what happens. We're already down 3-1, 2-1, what have you. It puts a lot of pressure on the coach to say, man, you didn't put your almost MVP in there, you didn't put your all-star, you didn't put your go-to guy in there against a high-seeded running gun Cavs
I'm pretty
team.
sure he's out for the rest of the playoffs.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, even if he wasn't out, he didn't get injured. Coach would not make that move, even though this team is better without him.
This makes it very easy for Danny Ainge.
Oh yeah.
I do not see how Danny Ainge is going to offer this young man a max contract.
Isaiah,
seeing what he saw last night
and having the first pick,
and that's the thing. Because here's the thing, Skip. How do you build around a 5'9" guy? If you bring guys in that need the ball, you diminish Isaiah. If you bring guys in that, okay, they maybe don't need the ball as much, but Isaiah's going to dominate it so much, everybody's going to say they're a bust. Well, they're not a bust. It's because Isaiah needs the ball for 15 to 20 seconds. And then at the last second, he's asking guys to bail him out. It's almost like an Allen Iverson situation. You know, Allen Iverson, they surrounded him with big guys. All they need is somebody to play rebound and take the ball out. Iverson was going to do the rest. But when it has this lineup in there, you got three guys that can defend. But like I said, are you counting on Marcus Smart having a career night, getting 27? Do you think, Man Bun came off the bench in 23 minutes, gave you 15 points?
He didn't have his man bun last night.
Drive a Scooby-Doo van and he getting 15 points.
Hair down, man down.
Yeah,
right?
that's okay.
That's what it is. Hair down, man down.
25 points.
Huh?
Case will do 25 points tomorrow night.
25 for who?
The Cavaliers are going to beat them by 25.
Oh, by 25?
Yeah.
I'll sleep on it. I'll see how I feel tomorrow.
It's going to be ugly.
I think I might take the 25.
You ain't going to take it.
They're 15-point underdogs.
You're not going to take it. You're going to come in here like, well, I thought about it. Nope. You trying to sucker me. You know something I don't.
30.
No!
30? You said 30 to start the show.
LeBron will have 30.
Well, why did you back off 30?
LeBron going to be on a mission. You know when LeBron get now. You know when he feels like he's been, somebody say he's soft, he got his feelings hurt. What happened? He learned that he wasn't a finalist.
Wait a second. J.R. Smith said before yesterday's game at the shoot-around, better be careful of LeBron tonight. He's going to have a chip on that shoulder. It must have really weighed him down because he wound up with 11 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 6 turnovers.
Watch tomorrow night.
He tried to get too many people involved.
Yeah.
Too many sloppy turnovers.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing for them when Kevin Love went bananas in the first quarter. That was the worst thing because they was like, okay, this is Kevin night. Let's get to Kevin. Let's get to Kevin. Let's get to Kevin.
Hey, but if he's a Mount Rushmore player, once the lead starts to slip away, wouldn't Mount Rushmore say, hey, you guys get out of the way. I got this.
But he's not in the rhythm now, Skip.
Rhythm?
Skip, you got to be in a rhythm. Listen.
Great players don't need a rhythm. They just say, okay, I'll get my rhythm.
Oh, so you said Michael Jordan once had 7 points in the first half, and then when they needed him in the fourth quarter, he went off and scored 20.
Sure.
No.
Yes.
No, didn't happen. Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
Especially in a situation like this where you got a hold serve with Golden State.
Okay, what about that 4-18 performance against the Knicks? Why didn't he 3 or 18? Excuse me. Why didn't he turn that around?
What year was that?
When Michael Jordan played.
Way back.
When Michael Jordan played.
Patrick Ewing.
Back when Michael was playing, he had. Yeah.
They're right.
That's what you know why they try to minimize? And I may see what you think about this. They try to knock LeBron down. He's one of the main ones because LeBron is the only legitimate threat to the GOAT.
Legitimate how?
Hold on.
It's over.
I'm talking
There's
to
no
say
threat.
it. I'm talking to say it. The man has 4 regular season MVPs. He has finals MVPs. He's going to be 1-2 as far as all-time leading scorer. He'll be top 10 in assists, top 15 in rebounds. And I think everybody sees him as the only legitimate threat to Michael. And so every chance they get, oh, he can't shoot free throws. Oh, did you see the way he came? He came to the game in a Lamborghini. Well, Michael Jordan, he on a space shuttle.
So?
When the kid came in the league, I knew he had an opportunity to overlap Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in points. 18 years old, averaging 20-plus points. Even Kobe took 4 years to start averaging 20. And I thought that after LeBron did it, KD would take over. as a leading scorer all time. But in my book, 6 championships and 9 losses, that does it for me.
Thank you.
And I know you want to say Bill Russell got the most, but if you go and look back the short period of time that Michael played in his career, it wasn't really short, 13 years, but when he was dominant with the Bulls, in his short period of time with that Bulls, I don't think LeBron could catch him like that way. He gonna catch him statistically wise because he started when he was 18 years old, and he playing 20+ years. He gonna play 20+ years in the league.
Well, Jordan shoot 5 more shots a game. Well, why? Okay, you know,
and Jordan has the ball less.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Why couldn't he take down the big 3 in Boston?
Who, LeBron James?
Jordan.
Oh man, because Larry Bird was a beast.
What about the big? What about the bad boy Pistons? Why couldn't he do that until
he didn't have his bad 3? What, did LeBron win a championship without the bad 3?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Did LeBron win a championship without his big bad 3?
You making my point for me.
Okay.
So he wasn't God as everybody make him out to be. He needed help.
Oh, everybody needed. Who won the championship without help? Hakeem?
No mercy. DeSean Jackson signed a 3-year deal for $33.5 million with the Bucks this offseason, but his new offensive coordinator, Todd Monon, said Jackson has a lot to prove to earn that new deal. Let's take a listen.
We have paid you a lot of money to be a damn good player. We need you to be a great player now. Okay, that's why we gave you the money. Yeah, and you came here because of money. Don't give me all that bullshit about you came here because of the weather and James. No, you came here because we paid you the most. Okay, so you need to play like that. And he gets it. He's smart enough to understand that.
Wow. We're joined by Chris Carter. Chris, were these comments inbounds or out of bounds?
Why would they be out of bounds? I mean, they give you a job. The best way to have success in life is to find out what your boss wants and to do it in a way that they want to keep you and pay you even more money. I don't know why people have such a hard time with getting coached hard or getting hard instruction. See, I have no problem with the truth. The coach is being authentic, all right? You are not here because you want to play with Jameis. We saw in free agency, we offered you the most money. Now, this is a good fit, but the reality in dealing with wide receivers is this is the way you have to coach them. And when he's not performing up to that, because you know the reason why? Next year, they got to give Vincent a big contract.
So Mike Evans, you mean?
Mike Evans, excuse me. Yes, Mike Evans. Vincent is no longer there. So Mike Evans, when you know you have him in your rearview mirror, because he is a type A1 receiver. He is a prototype. 6'4" to 6'5", can play the boundary. Now, him and DeSean are the perfect complement. But the coach told him from Jump Street, I know about you, all right? I know sometimes you don't want to practice. I know sometimes you want to run your mouth. So let me let you know what you're here for. You're here to play to get this money. Now, what he's telling them is it's year to year. At 30 years old, this is year to year. And most small basketball players and football players, they wear down quicker than the bigger players. So when you're undersized, you have to keep yourself in top shape. And he's going to have to still get 17 yards a catch. And the coach let him know, I have no problem because do your job. This is what we're paying you to do.
I got a huge problem with it because everything that you said you could have told me behind closed doors. Because what you did is you prejudged me from a distance. You heard somebody say something. But you know what I'd have done? I said, listen here, mofo. You and I need to have a conversation. And this is the way I handle it. Now, if you got a problem with something I've done or something I've said, you address me. If I got a problem with something you said, you've done, I'm going to address you. But I promise you this, if you ever go out publicly and say something like this again, you don't want the kind of problems that you heard about. You don't want them kind of problems here.
D-Jack needs them. D-Jack needs this money, man.
I don't
Wait a minute. Now. Where else he going to go? Where else he going to get $11 million?
Okay, I get all that. Hold on. You don't think that coordinator, he was the head coach at Southern Miss.
Everyone's got a boss, man.
Hold on. First of all, he had no say in D-Jack going there. That was the general manager talking to the owners. The offensive coordinator had no say-so in this. Now, hold on. If I'm not mistaken, he was also the receiver coach at Jacksonville. Why isn't he in Jacksonville anymore? He was also the head coach at Southern Miss. Why isn't he the head coach anymore? Why
isn't D-Jack in Philly? Why Washington let him go?
Oh. They wanted him back.
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Well, wait a second. Chip Kelly ran him out of town.
Oof. And
him and Shady.
Yeah. So we got to excuse that. But here's the thing, Skip and CC. Everything that he said, although it be true, you can't address me. So now I'm coming in. I'm coming in. Did you hear what Monken said about that you came here for the money? That it wasn't about DeSean Jackson. So now when you call that bull jive and we lose a game, you already know what Shannon Sharpe gonna do.
Yeah.
You already know what I'm gonna do, CC. He called that bull jive. We didn't even run that play all week in practice. Now, what we ran in practice, that's what we should have ran in the ball game. How you want to do this?
Then you don't have to worry. He's not going to make that $33 million. He's not going to get to year 2 and 3 of that contract.
They guaranteed him $20 million.
Okay, but you can still be cut.
Guarantee.
Yeah, but
You can still
30.
You knew it was going to be a 2-year deal.
Hey, you will give me a parting gift like that? Where do you do that at?
Well, this is the thing, Shannon. You got to coach players hard, especially these young players.
You don't got to coach me in the public.
Listen, this is the thing. You're taking it too personal.
He made it personal.
No, the guy told him do his job. This is what you down here for.
Okay, what's his job?
Catch the ball, stretch the field,
What's
be consistent.
What's Monken's job?
Put him in a good position to be successful.
Called him plays.
Yes.
He called plays last year, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How were they last year? Okay, go ahead, Skip.
They were improved.
Look, I hear what Chris is saying, but you're putting yourself in DeSean's shoes because you could stand up to tough.
Well, who else shoes I'm supposed to put him in?
I just don't understand.
I'm a wide receiver. Wide receivers, for the most part, need to be coached this way.
Okay.
And the reason why we have so many flare-ups is because the coach don't tell them from the first day, this is the way things are going to be.
I know DeSean a little bit, and I know what he's like. And he can be oversensitive and a little thin-skinned, and he responds much better to love than call-outs. And this was a flat-out call-out.
Yes.
And it's a call-out by a guy, and I see this happen. I've been doing this for a long time, and I see these guys rise into coordinators' positions, and I don't know how they did this. How did he pull this off? Todd Monon, just quickly, he was a quarterback at Knox College in Galesburg, Illinois. Starts out as a grad assistant at Grand Valley State, hooks up with Brian Kelly, who takes him to Notre Dame, but then that doesn't work out, and he goes to Eastern Michigan, Louisiana Tech, Oklahoma State, LSU because of Les Miles' connection. And then he has 3 years as the receiver coach in Jacksonville, and for whatever reason, I don't know, it didn't work out, and he went back to Oklahoma State. And then he winds up the head coach at Southern Miss and took over a terrible program. He goes 1 for 11, 3 for 9, and then had one breakout year, 9-5, and they lost the Heart of Dallas Bowl to Washington. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, he springboards from there, and he's the coordinator of the Bucs. I don't know how. And he winds up with all kinds of new firepower, including your man from Alabama, right?
Right.
Woo! So he's got all kinds of new weapons.
And the truth of the matter, he does have the title as offensive coordinator, but he's not going to be calling the plays.
I don't think he is.
The head coach calls the plays.
I am with you on that. So I'm not sure how these guys get these jobs and then get so full of themselves that they think they have the platform to call out a DeSean Jackson who has
proven.
He's got some pedigree in this league. He's done some. He's been in 3 Pro Bowls.
He scored 25 touchdowns the last 5 years. Whoop-de-whoop.
I don't have a problem being coached because your job as a coach is to help get me better and to put me in the position that not only am I getting better, but I'm helping my team succeed.
Yeah, but
when you call me out publicly.
And he called him out stating the painfully obvious. Obviously, they're not paying for what he did at Philly or what he did at Washington. They're paying him for what he must do for this Tampa team.
Yeah. And the guy said, obviously, DeSean knows, which means that we talked about this. So
okay,
this
we talked about why did you discuss it again?
Because I'm an offensive coordinator and the people are asking me questions.
No.
And if I had already said something to you privately, you wouldn't mind that I said it publicly.
I would mind. Because you're not going.
You got a lot of wide receiver off in you.
I do, but
you got a lot of wide receiver off in you.
I told Brian Billy the one thing. I said, Brian, I want to be coach, but you can't curse me. You can't. There are certain things that you can't say.
So you said I want to be coached, but I can only be coached a certain way.
No,
that's what you just said.
Yeah,
you said you can coach me, but don't cuss me.
Okay. No, you're not. Look here, now you.
I tune in every day, and Skip is cussing at you every day.
I be kidding, but no.
Every day, and you be taking it.
I just believe that everything he said could have been said behind closed doors, and DeSean Jackson would be more receptive. I believe that's just me. I want to be coached. Everybody wants to be coached. Why he came there is unimportant. He's there now. Now, hey, it's your job to come up with a scheme schematically that's going to get DeSean Jackson. Now, don't be trying to run him on shallow crosses. Like He's a down-the-field guy. Throw him post routes, throw him comebacks, and throw him deep and goals.
Right, and this is one thing I think that we can all agree to, all right? Football players have to be coached hard.
Yes.
Sometimes when you are taking over a position, and there's great expectations in Tampa Bay.
Oh, yeah.
All right? Sometimes you try to win the press conference and you go a little overboard.
Yes.
Now, he might have overstepped his boundaries just a little bit, but for me, I'd much rather him do it that way than be a chump and not say anything. Challenge the player and try to bring out the best in them. And DJ, you got to put DJ. If you want the best of him, you got to put him on a tight leash.
But I'm saying, hey, put him on, in the meet.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure he responds well to this, but we'll see.
Put him, hey, everything he said on that radio show, he could have had me and CC right here, you and I talking. That's what he could have done. Because now I got to I think DJ is sitting there saying, what the heck you think I'm here for?
Well, he's a professional, so they're all getting paid. So he's kind of stating the obvious anyway.
Yeah.
No, but that level, Megan.
You better go earn the money that we're paying you.
What's wrong with that?
Level of respect.
Jamie tell y'all that every day. You don't say nothing. Go down there and earn that money I gave you, Shannon. Didn't nobody else believe in you? Didn't nobody else? You were sitting on the side of the road and I came and gave you 4 tires. Let's go.
And
you don't say nothing.
And you know what? Jamie says that behind closed doors. And Skip can say,
He told me.
Jamie
told me.
That's okay.
Shannon better give me that money I gave him.
And Skip, I know I'm
You better give it for me every day.
Because of Skip.
Every day.
Skip it out.
Don't be doing that stuff over that other network.
Hey,
you take a day off or something. I need it every day, Shannon. That's what he told me in private. That's what he told me privately.
You just got run over, man.
If Skip Bayless were to say LaShannon, you know, and tell me, yeah, he doing a radio show in Complex Magazine, or he talk, LaShannon is here because of me, and he know he better. Hey, Skip, Skip, let me have a word.
I think we would have a word.
No mercy. Calvin Johnson surprisingly retired after the 2015 season. At the time, the Lions required him to pay back $320,000 from his signing bonus. Johnson was asked on Saturday when his number 81 jersey would be retired, but he did not seem optimistic because of his state of his relationship with the team. Johnson said, "I don't even like to talk about the Lions too much just because the way our relationship ended. I just didn't feel like I was treated the way I should have been treated on the way out. That's all. I mean, it's all good. I'm not tripping. I don't feel any kind of way. It is what it is." We're joined by Rob Parker. Welcome, Rob.
Good morning. What's happening?
Dr. Detroit. Here we go.
Detroit, you covered the Lions for a long time. Whose side are you on here, Calvin's or the Lions?
And Shannon, I made a good living for a long time trashing the Lions, right? I was a columnist for the Free Press and the Detroit News, and I watched Calvin Johnson's entire career and was at almost every single game. And the Lions made a ton of mistakes, from Matt Millen to Rod Marinelli to going 0-16.
Charlie Rogers.
Right, all of it, okay? But on this day, in this case, I'm siding with the Lions.
What?
Absolutely. I don't understand Calvin Johnson from this standpoint. He's upset that they want him to repay his signing bonus when he quit on them, like Barry Sanders quit and paid back signing bonus. So Calvin Johnson thinks he's better than Barry Sanders and he doesn't have to pay back the money. What? You should walk out on a team and get a parade. And, by the way, keep the money that you didn't earn.
And by the way, they only asked for 1/10 of what he could have.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's your bone that you're picking with the Lions. It's unfair from his standpoint that he's doing this, putting this out there, kind of muddying the water.
Right.
He walked out on the Lions.
Yes.
Pay the money back, man. Be happy with your life. Don't do this.
The way I would have handled it, especially with the jersey, I said, look, that would be a great honor. That's not my decision. Some point down the line, the Lions will have a decision to make whether they think I was good enough or great enough to have my number to hang from the rafters, like all the 20s, Lim Barney, Sims, and Barry Sanders wore the number 20. But if I work for, let's just say I work for Apple or Google, and I'm their best programmer, I'm their best at whatever I do, and I quit. You think they're supposed to have me office in the building anytime I want to, Skip? No. You walked out on them, and I get it. And this might have confirmed, well, see, I knew. I did the right thing because they don't care nothing about me. You know, I took all these pain-killing injections. My knee was hurting, my ankle was hurting, and this is what they do to me at the end. But at the end of the day, you didn't really honor your contract. You walked away from the game, and I get it, Calvin.
And that's his decision, and it's okay.
It's okay. But I just can't hold the Lions just liable. They're like, okay, they asked for a 10th when they could have got 3.2 back. They only took $300,000. Now, we can make this, but like I said, hopefully it'll be like Barry, because Barry and the Lions have made amends. Barry's there all the time. He is the ambassador for the Lions.
And they weren't always on good terms, and they got back to good terms because it's good to have your great players a part of your organization.
But Barry didn't even say anything. Barry just, hey, my desire to leave was greater than my desire to stay, and he left it at that.
Do you know that story about Barry giving his money? I broke that story. I was at an airport, and I ran into Barry Sanders, and Barry said to me, hey, by the way, just like this, I sent them back their money to sign-in bonus. I didn't have my laptop. I called in the story like the old days, and they wrote up an A1 story, and that's how I got the story from Barry. He just told me.
So I've told you this before, but at ESPN, I got to know a number of Calvin's teammates or ex-teammates with the Lions. And to a man, they loved Calvin because he's a good man at heart, but they were all always a little disappointed in him because he had underachiever in him. Very gifted. We went back and forth with Chris Carter. Maybe Randy Moss is a little more gifted. I don't know. This is 6'5", 240 pounds of 4.35 40. It's unheard of. And yet there was always a little something missing in him, and I think you would agree with this, where he underachieved. He didn't have that killer drive to become the greatest player. He didn't have that Jerry Rice drive to him. And again, Jerry Rice led the league 6 times in touchdown receptions. Calvin only 1 time in his 9 years in Detroit. So it was always, he left you wanting a little bit more. And his teammates looked at him as a guy who didn't exactly arrive early and stay late to get better and better.
Didn't love football.
No, didn't love football in the end.
He just was one of those guys.
So I can't, again, this is the first and maybe last time I'm going to defend Detroit as an organization.
Right.
But there was no reservoir of goodwill built between the two of them, because I think that the management always felt like they didn't quite get the bang for their $100 million worth of bucks that they paid this guy, right?
Yeah.
So it's pocket change. It's petty to say, okay, we want $320,000 back out of the $3 million.
You make 320,000 cars a day.
But they could have asked for the $3.2 million, right? Or something like that. So I would have been like, well, that's a nice gesture. They didn't have to do it. Let me write this check for $320,000 and be gone and be happy with it. Plus, for all the statistics and all the stuff he did over 9 years, what he leaves behind, too, is 0-16 that he was a part of.
He was.
That's what he leaves behind.
And no playoff wins.
Two playoff losses.
But the thing is, for me, Skip, is that some guys, they wear it on their sleeve. They're ultra talented, and they have a burning desire. They don't know what their life would be without football. Calvin Johnson could imagine his life without football. He can even imagine his life with no football, never ever being a part of it. Can you imagine Tom Brady or Jerry Rice or Peyton Manning trying to fathom their life without football? Calvin can do that. But I don't fault that against him. Maybe that's not his burning desire. And I live for it.
And I'll tell you this. It's not fair, but I'm still going to say it. He retires and then shows up on Dancing with the Stars, like, right away. And I'm like, if you're a Lions fan, you're like, wait a minute, don't you all banged up? And I know dancing's not like playing football. But it just came across like, wow, you really didn't want to be here. You know what I mean? You're right out in the public eye, dancing, sashaying. You remember this?
Yeah.
All right, maybe it wasn't.
It was the same as Barry. As Barry said, his desire to leave was greater than his desire to stay.
That is
and that's
correct.
what Calvin was. His desire to do something other than play football, get hit, his ankles, knees hurt, and that's his choice. But he can't be mad that he quit on the job and they asked for 10% of the money back when they could have got 100% of it.
It's very calm and objective of you to be so.
You jealous because you can't get on Dancing
reasonable
with the Stars.
about the Lions.
No, you can't.
I can.
Don't stop.
Don't.
Rob dances every Friday.
I want a dance party.
No mercy. This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1, follow on Twitter at Undisputed, and catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on Channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm Joy Taylor. Tune in Tuesday.
Facts. Sports, one of one.